This is Dr. Snake. You're listening to a Dokology field transmission. Sovereignty doesn't begin in politics, it doesn't begin in systems. It begins in the space between stimulus and response. If you control that space, you control far more than you think. Sovereignty isn't rebellion, it isn't defiance, it's internal authority. Over the last 9 transmissions, we've covered silence, attention, emotional control, perception, the pause, interference, no mind, and field awareness. Each one is a component. Together they create something different. A nervous system that no longer feels easy to steer. We live in an environment saturated with distraction, urgency, and emotional manipulation. Most people move through it unconsciously, pulled by headlines, notifications, social friction. Sovereignty in this context doesn't require withdrawal. It requires stability. A stable nervous system sees clearly. A stable mind chooses deliberately. A stable perception doesn't collapse under pressure. Here's how the pieces connect. You silence the inner dialogue, so perception becomes available. You control attention, so emotion doesn't dominate. You interrupt emotional hijack, so urgency doesn't dictate action. You widen perception, so projection weakens. You insert the pause, so decision becomes deliberate. You reduce interference, so attention stabilises. You practice no mind, so reaction loses leverage. You reconnect with the field, so perception gains depth. None of these are dramatic. They're subtle, cumulative, and stabilising. So out here with the wind moving across the open space, the system feels obvious. Nothing urgent, nothing pulling, just perception operating cleanly. But the real test isn't open land. It's conversation, work, pressure. That's where sovereignty becomes visible. So there's no new drill this week. Instead, run the full spectrum once. In one real situation, notice the inner dialogue. Redirect attention. Interrupt emotion. Widen perception. Insert the pause and act deliberately. Experience what it feels like to move through a moment without being steered. Sovereignty in a distracted age isn't loud. It's quiet, stable, and difficult to provoke. It doesn't require belief, only practice. That's the transmission. Stay awake in the dream.